The train compartment was dimly lit, the flickering tube lights casting eerie shadows along the empty seats. Raghav sat near the window, gripping his bag tightly, his heart still racing. The last thing he remembered was boarding the train from Santa Cruz station, but something was wrong. There were barely any passengers, and those who were there sat completely still, their faces hidden behind newspapers or turned toward the windows. No chatter, no phone screens glowing, no movement, just the low, humming sound of the train. Outside, the city rushed past in a blur of neon lights and dark alleys, yet something felt disconnected. It was as if the world outside belonged to a different reality. Raghav sighed and pulled out his phone. No signal. Strange. There was always network coverage on this route. He glanced at the digital clock display above the exit door. It was stuck on 11:47 p.m. He frowned. That wasn't right. He had boarded at 11:30 and at least 20 minutes should have passed by now. He checked his wristwatch. 11:47 p.m. A cold sensation crept up his spine. He turned to the man sitting opposite him, a middle-aged gentleman in a formal suit. Raghav said hesitantly, "Excuse me, do you know why this train is so empty, sir?" The man didn't respond. Raghav shifted uncomfortably. The man lowered the newspaper slightly, revealing hollow black eyes and a twisted smile. Raghav's breath caught in his throat. He blinked and suddenly the man was gone. The seat was empty. His heart pounded as he scanned the compartment. The other passengers remained motionless, as if frozen in time. Had he imagined it? The train screeched as it pulled into a station, but when Raghav looked outside, his blood ran cold. The station didn't exist. The platform was covered in mist, the walls crumbling and discolored. The name board was rusted, its letters barely visible under years of decay. Narakpur Junction. Raghav's stomach churned. There was no station by that name on this route or anywhere in the city. A distant echo of footsteps filled the silence. A figure emerged from the fog, walking slowly towards the train. It was a man, his suit tattered, his face half hidden in the shadows. His gait was unnatural, as if he were dragged forward by an invisible force. As he stepped closer, the dim light revealed something horrifying. His face was decomposing, chunks of flesh missing, exposing darkened bone underneath. Raghav stumbled backward, gripping the metal pole for support. His breath came out in short, panicked gasps. The man locked eyes with him and mouthed something. Raghav couldn't hear, but he understood. "Run!" The train jolts forward. Raghav bangs on the exit door, yelling, "Stop the train! Let me out!" Then the train doors slammed shut and the train jolted forward. Raghav spun around, looking for someone, anyone who could explain what the hell was happening. But the other passengers remained frozen. Desperate, he rushed toward the exit door and banged on it. "Voice, you are already out!" Raghav whipped around. No one was there. The air had turned frigid. The tube lights flickered violently, and then the entire train shifted. It wasn't a sudden stop. It was like reality had bent for a fraction of a second. The interior looked older now. Rusted metal, peeling paint, and broken glass on the floor. The advertisements on the walls weren't in English anymore. They were in an unknown script, faded with time. Raghav stepped back, his body trembling. A strange noise filled the compartment, a rhythmic tapping sound like fingernails against glass. Slowly he turned toward the window. A face stared back at him. It was his own reflection, but something was terribly wrong. The reflection wasn't mimicking his actions. Instead, it was smiling a wide, unnatural grin. The compartment lights go dark. A distorted voice whispers, "Welcome back, Arjun." Raghav's eyes widened. Arjun? That wasn't his name. That wasn't his name. The train suddenly lurched forward at an impossible speed, the outside world turning into streaks of white light. Raghav fell to the floor, gripping the seat for support. His vision blurred. The air was getting heavier, pressing against his chest like a massive weight. Somewhere in the darkness, a siren wailed, and then the memories hit him, flashes of a different life. A man in a newspaper office, flipping through old articles, a missing train, a journalist investigating it, a nameplate on a desk, Arjun Mehta. And then the final memory, boarding a train in 1987, a train that never reached its destination. Raghav's breathing became ragged. He wasn't Raghav, he was Arjun Mehta, and he had been here before. The train screeched violently as it approached its final stop. The walls around him were shaking. The floor beneath him began to disappear piece by piece. Raghav, or Arjun, crawled toward the door, desperate, clawing for escape. But the train had already decided his fate. The world turned to black. A young woman enters a train at Santa Cruz station. She looks around, confused by how empty it is. The digital clock above the exit door reads 11:47 p.m. She takes a seat. The train moves. From the reflection in the window, a pair of hollow black eyes watch her. The cycle begins again.